Hello, I'm David Smalley with Elves and Angels. I've come to do an assembly video of Jenny's kitchen today. And first of all, I'm going to show you the parts, and then we'll get right at the assembly. First of all, first thing you want to do is, this part is the door frame to the kitchen. When you get this, these knobs will not be on here. I've put them on to cut down the time of the video. What you want to do is you screw them in. There's a little hole behind there. You screw them in until they're just snug so they don't move. Then you put a Phillips screwdriver in, turn it back or back it off about a quarter of a turn until it spins freely, like this. Right, that way they move. So you'll do that first. The next part I'll show you is the cooktop. Same thing on the cooktop. You'll put in these two knobs and this faucet, and then snug them down, and then back them off a turn until they spin freely like that. And that's all there is to it. This I want to show you our cooktops. These are Elves and Angels exclusives. These were actually designed by our production manager, Jacob Smalley. I'm not going to tell you how they're done. I don't want anybody else doing it. I love them. So just to show you those, we think those are really nice. These are the sides to Jenny's kitchen, and as with all Elves and Angels products, we provide grooves in which all the parts that you connect to the sides, for instance, go in. This will show you just exactly where everything goes. The door frame, the cooktop, the shelf, the top goes up here. This quarter-inch groove in the back is where the back slides up when we get the kitchen assembled, which won't be that long from now. This is the top that goes on the top of the kitchen when it's done. This is the rear connector, which actually accepts the upper and the lower back. And then this is the oven shelf. So those are your parts. We'll get this going again. The first thing that we want to do is put the cooktop onto one of the sides here. Do this. You may or may not have a helper. If you don't, I would suggest something like this, something to support the other end of the cooktop, like I'm doing right there. This is Baltic Birch, Plywood, and we rest that there. I got the wrong side here. Put this like this, and you're going to take that cooktop and put it in that groove like this, and you can hear it kind of lock in, and you press down. You want that cooktop to be in there. Just put your hand against it and bring it in, against it and bring it in. And the part that you want to line up is you want to line up the rear of the cooktop with the inside of that quarter-inch groove. You want to have that be free there because your back is going to slide up there afterwards. So I'll install the first screw. That. And then we'll put another one on. And then we'll still use our helper here. Just makes it easier. You could use a magazine at home or whatever you have. Or like I say, if you have someone that can hold that for you, then that's great. If you don't, it's certainly not impossible to do. So we're going to go like this. And again, we're going to try to line up the rear of the cooktop with the inside of the quarter-inch groove. And then I'm going to stand this up just a little bit. Try to get some here. So at this point, cooktop is secure, and we line everything up from the rear. And a lot of times you'll see a little bit of a gap here, and this is part of the design. Natural wood is susceptible to both shrinkage and expansion, and that is an expansion and shrinkage part of this product. And we do it so that you don't have to run into problems in the field if you have a lot of very moist weather and the product swells, you won't have any problems in assembly. The next thing we're going to put in is the door frame. And this simply slides up the grooves that we've put in the sides. You, in here. And then you try to hold the sides a little bit, or if you have a helper, they hold, and you just push it up in there like this. You try to do it straight so it doesn't come out. Right? You hear it pop in there. So we'll get one side in. We'll just put one screw in the bottom. You want to push upward here until it's snug at the top. And we'll put this first screw in. And we'll go over here. Get the other side. I'm not going to put all the screws in because it's not necessary. You can hear that. It goes in, it kind of locks in. Right. So at this point, our Jenny's kitchen looks like this. And maybe what we'll do is put the top on now. I'm tall enough from this point. And in the top, there's also a 1/4 inch groove in the back. And your upper back is going to slide in that and slide up this track here. Excuse me. You're going to somewhat evenly space this. You can use a tape measure, or if you think you can do it by your eye, then go ahead, do it that way. I'm just going to put a couple screws for the sake of the video. And then here, this is even. The top is even with the rear of the kitchen. And then I'm going to lay it down on its face. We're going to put in our oven shelf into the grooves as usual. Press down. There again, you're even with the inside of the groove so that your back can fit up through there. Then we're going to put in the upper back, which is the one that's finished. It'll be darker than the one, the lower back that is not. And this is Baltic Birch Plywood. It's absolutely green. We use it because it makes the flat pack easier to assemble, and we're big believers in flat pack. And this makes it so that it's a whole lot easier for you to assemble in the field with that piece of plywood in there. Now I need a rear connector, a couple of screws. That's going to go, the groove in this, I'm going to put it right on that piece of plywood. If that part there seems too snug, we make that very snug. Back off that screw just a 1/4 turn, it'll drop right down in there. I'm just going to push it down a little bit and get it like that. But if you feel like it's too tight, it's actually not. We make it that way so that if it should shrink, it'll still work for you. And that's the way that goes. And then there's a screw here. There's actually another one on the other side, but I'm not going to put it in. Then we have the lower back. Same way, slides up through the grooves in the rear of the kitchen. Yes. And into the groove on the back of the rear connector. And we turn this around like this. And you see there's 2 screw holes. You're going to put 2 screws that go right into the center of the oven shelf. Then, flip Jenny's kitchen up here. The last part of the Jenny's is to, and you can see that's the cavity. All the screw holes here, you're going to take like maybe some Elmer's glue or any other type of school glue you have in the house. Just put a drop of glue on the edge of that. Take these birch plugs, put them in like this. They might need to be just given just a small tap, like that. And then you do all of them that are. They are the same way as the rest of wood. They're susceptible to moisture and expansion and contraction. So they can at times be tighter than, for instance, what you saw there. Just give them a little tap, they'll go in. There's nothing we can do about that. That's just the way wood is. Okay, I think that's about it with Jenny's. If you have, if you're not giving this away as a gift to your children, it's not a surprise. Try to involve them with it, the making of it. Children love to see their parents be able to assemble a product. Maybe you're someone that they never would have imagined you could do that, and they would delight in it to see you be able to make that kitchen in a very short amount of time. So it can be a real nice experience for both you and them. And for Elves and Angels, I'd like to thank you for buying Maine-made, American-made, natural product from a family business. And I'd like to thank you personally for your support of Elves and Angels products and the Smalley family for the last 26 years, and we very much appreciate it.